Very good afternoon, all the colleagues from the industry. Thanks for the opportunity. Actually, this session was to be taken by Mr. Dheeraj Agrawal, who is Vice President HMEL. He's my boss. Due to some exigency, he's out of the station. So I am here to present his session. Thanks a lot. This is regarding, we at HMEL operate a single pipeline which is the only feed to the refinery and petchem plant. Basically, it is for refinery crude oil it transports, 1,000+ kilometer pipeline we are having. So integrity management becomes a very important part for us also, because anything happens to this pipeline means the refinery is at stake. Now, with refinery, we afterwards came out with a petrochemical plant of 1.2 MMTPA capacity. So for that, naphtha was needed. I'll be explaining 1-2 innovative aspects. There are a number of points here, but I will have a coverage of 2-3 aspects here. What innovations or excellence we have done in the industry with the support of all the industry colleagues. To give an overview of our company, HMEL, one in Bhatinda, we are having a refinery and a petchem complex, and the pipeline is feeding to the refinery from Mundra to Bhatinda. So we are having one SPM, if you see this diagram overview, so we are having one SPM at Mundra. It's around 10 kilometer inside the sea, and 7 kilometer almost onshore line, so 17 kilometer is the line. One SPM is there. So in SPM, we were having some issues. Initially, what happened, subsea hose was having some issues. Yokohama subsea hose we were using, and our SPM was designed by Imodco and constructed by SPM Atlanta. So subsea hose rupture cases we observed. And the life was 1.5 years, and every year we were changing the subsea hose. So this became a critical task for us, how to get away with it. So we collected full year data of current and tide, complete year data, and again went to Imodco. The job was awarded to Imodco, what best can be done. So it came out with a Trelleborg hose. Having during design, it was the length was reduced by 5 feet. With that, actually the kink was getting developed. Because of the kink, the rupture was happening. Means the complete lantern shape it was not taking. With reduction of that hose length, the lantern shape came. So that resolved our issue. And the best part is that, again, with this hose was costlier than the earlier one. But the thing is that two strings we installed, and one string was both the strings were excellently working. For out of the fear, we changed one string after 2 years and found it is in excellent condition. So the next string we are going to replace next month after completion of 6 years. Basically, we are saving a huge amount, because every year string change. Now it's going somewhere around 6 years. It's a huge saving to us also. And by identifying the problem and searching for the solutions, give us the solution. That's what I just want to explain. Here also one more thing, small things play a role. Actually, what happens when we install this string, the flame body, the bottom flange hits the flame body. So we were fearful that the flame gets damaged, then it will be a great problem for us. So a Teflon gasket was designed. So we just tied it with the bottom flange and took it to the bottom, so that whatever heating is happening at the bottom, it is happening with a Teflon flange. Then one bolt is injected, Teflon is taken out. So that fear was also taken out. A very small thing, but helps a lot. So it's about we ourselves think of the different solutions in the industry and came out with the best solution. And what Chakravarti ji was also telling that during construction, the Google map, actually we would also like to implement that part. Google map, what we can see, what was earlier, what is new. And MFL, normally we are following MFL. So axial, if flood detection, if it helps, because earlier with the cost implication was much higher, but now all these technologies are less costlier. So we can go for that also. And this is another one, this is an anchored buoy mooring. Actually, diving support vessel, one maintenance vessel is normally kept near to the SPM to look after the SPM, to handle any exigency, and during maintenance also that is required. And it is normally anchored there a distance of 1 nautical mile or so. So when it is required to bring that vessel, it takes out the anchor and comes to the near to the SPM. And this process actually takes a little time, somewhere around 70 minutes or so. And it's during that time the DSV runs also on the engine, so it consumes diesel also. So we came out with a solution that this mooring buoy, a big buoy was anchored at that point where the DSV is to be usually used to anchor, and just a connection DSV is just moved to the buoy. So whenever it is required, just open it and comes out. It takes hardly 10 minutes, and shipping was there. Actually, speaking, this was an additional item what we installed. Actually, normally for any maintenance contract we give, like Underwater is our maintenance contractor. So after installing this, we got the discount in the contract also, in the running monthly bill also, because they were saving on the diesel. So this is one small thing. And corrosion in the subsea pipeline, basically what we are using, and the industry colleagues are also now using this, I believe, that in the tugboats, with tugboats we are, with the support of tugboats, if the discharge is there, because we are using very sour crude usually. And that sour crude, if there is a gap between the vessels, so if the gap is vessels, that sour crude is there in the line, and there is a high chance that line will be corroded. For that, on the DSB, we installed the CI dosing pump, and it connects with the butterfly valve at the manifold of the vessel. When the discharge is at the end, so for the line fill, suppose 18,000 KL is the line fill for our offshore onshore pipeline up to the crude oil terminal, that portion we fill with the CI dosing. So that also helps us, and at the end of the crude oil terminal where the end is there, we have installed in 48-inch line, offshore onshore line, corrosion coupon also, because that's the only method without ILI to inspect how the line is behaving. This is one thing where I was starting basically. Our Bhatinda refinery is there for processing crude. When petchem came, the requirement was of naphtha. And how to transport naphtha was a task. The mode was basically one railway. We import naphtha at Mundra, and by railway it is transported. But it's a very costly affair. Our joint venture HPCL came for the rescue, and HPCL, through HPCL pipeline, is a product pipeline where diesel, MS and Kero with batch interfaces, it is transported. So that was used to transport naphtha to Bhatinda refinery. But in that also it's Mundra Delhi pipeline. So they have to, HPCL also has to cater their requirement of product to the northern zone. So initially what was happening, the product was going up to the Rewari, from Rewari or Bahadurgarh it was going through the railway wagons. Then from Vadodara to the railway wagons, means part in the pipeline and part to the railways. And the assignment was given to us, can we transport it through crude oil pipeline? Frankly speaking, it was a great fear for us, the black oil and white oil, how we'll be able to do it. Because in pigging also we see a lot of muck comes, so because the waxy nature of the crude. So the main task was how to clean the line and how to transport naphtha. But one assurance was given by the management, you try, and if it works then it's good, even if small quantity comes. So a lot of brainstorming was done. Initially, we took a naphtha batch, and with crude, waxy crude is a blended crude rather. So after blended crude, we took a light crude, Arab extra light, then a water parcels in the rear and front end of the naphtha batch. Means starting from the Mundra, if I tell, so crude is going, then extra light crude will come, having low density, then water, and then naphtha, then water, like this. The plugs were made, and 4 peaks were launched just before this in the different batches. The success was there. Initially, to take it up, because everything is designed for crude, the double mechanical seal was put at Mundra, and all the pumping stations, because there is high chance that the pumping stations will contaminate the naphtha. All the pumping stations were put in bypass mode. So the success was there. Somewhere around 60% or so success we got. Then we improvised on the things. Then number of peaks were reduced because the vibration is creating contamination. That was found. Number of peaks were reduced. There was a problem if we are pushing water in the line, it is contaminating it. Basically, it's a corrosion, creating corrosion in the line. Water was removed. And extra light was the problem with the refinery to process extra light because it was for blended crude and economical affairs were there. So, stage by stage, these improvisations were done, and slowly we reduced the number of peaks, removed water, extra light, everything. Now, what we are doing, crude is going, and with crude we are pushing a pig which is having magnet and brush in advance, somewhere around 10 kilometers in advance. Then naphtha batch is going. And till date, from October 23 we started, and till date 21 batches with the highest batch length of 1,05,000 KL we have transported. And the result, basically the major problem was the color of the naphtha, which was getting blackish in nature. In the photograph also it is seen. So one chlorometer, we measure the color number. So it should, if pure naphtha it is 30, but licensor told that it's coming somewhere around 15 plus, it's okay to process. And we ensured that with these modifications, all the whatever in the line, whatever dead ends were there, if possible, isolation valves were put. During initial phase, all the problems we faced, because 27 SV stations are there. We were draining out the contaminated portion, interface portion at the SV stations, but were Herculean task. So we came out of this because the safety issue will also be there. We stopped that part. Station bypass was the only thing, and dead end removal was one thing. So now we are doing as on date, but it's a continuous process as on date. Naphtha itself, initial naphtha batch itself is used for flushing and all the stations. In between, one station is there, that is Dhansa, almost at the center of the line. That station, last time we have taken online also, because earlier the stations were bypassed. Provisions were made in Dhansa station with the change of the mechanical seal. And slowly other pumping stations we are also planning to, but it's a continuous process, so that refinery, because if naphtha is going and crude feed is affected, refinery will be having problem for the feed stock. So we are using all these technologies and doing brainstorming how to feed naphtha to the petchem also and the crude at the refinery also. Both the things should continue, and till date the results are very good. So that's the main naphtha. These are most of the industry colleagues are doing this, actually sludge generation, how to avoid sludge generation in the tanks. So basically it's as per the OEM only what we are doing. Minus 30 to plus 30 mixer angles, that's playing a big role actually. Every quarter we are changing the angle with a difference of 40 degrees. Suppose minus 30 is one time, then next is plus 10, then minus 20, plus 20. Like this 7 cycles are done. And last tank when we took it for M&I, the bottom plate was really good. So we are sure that the changing mixer angles were helping us. So these are few of the points I just wanted to explain, and all these ideas come from the colleagues after talking to each other. So, and this helps us. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for listening.